Welcome back to School of Wife, where we treat marriage like the high stakes, high reward, learnable skill that it actually is. I'm Dr. Dose. Now, if you watch part one, you already know your position. Today is about what you do with it. Here's what most relationship advice get completely wrong. The prescription depends entirely on the diagnosis. So now that you know your position, you have the diagnosis. What works in position 1 will damage a marriage that's in position 3. Same effort, but it's going the wrong direction, and it could lead to a worse outcome. So today, you get the right prescription for exactly where you are in your marriage. If you're in position 1, both partners are actively investing. Both are actively moving toward connection. First of all, I want you to acknowledge that. That is not accidental. That's the result of both of you making choices, even if unconsciously. But here's the misconception that takes good relationships down. We're in a good place, so we don't need to actively work on our relationship. Research shows that without specific maintenance behaviors, 40% of position 1 relationships will slide into position 2 within just 2 years. See, the enemy isn't crisis. It's usually complacency. The enemy isn't crisis. It's usually complacency. Now, here's 3 prescriptions for position 1. First of all, scheduled relationship check-ins. Monthly, 30 minutes. No phones. Think of it as preventive care for your marriage. Cover 3 things. Cover what's working, what needs attention, and where you're both headed together. Now, couples who do this consistently show dramatically higher satisfaction over time. Second, skills expansion. Your professional skills required ongoing development. So do your relationship skills. Read together. Attend a workshop together. Invest in your communication and intimacy the same way you invest in your career growth. Third, be growth-oriented. Share growth-oriented experiences. Novel experiences have been shown to create new neural pathways and strengthen bonds through shared vulnerability. Traveling somewhere together neither of you has been, or learning something together, something neither of you knows. The key is that you're both present. It's not parallel activity. It's genuine mutual engagement. I want you to do this and then reassess every 6 months. Position 1 relationships with consistent attention become more and more resilient and more satisfying over time. Now let's talk about position 2. This is where a lot of high achieving women are living right now. One partner is invested, but the other partner is stationary and one is invested. And it's one of the most frustrating positions to navigate, frankly, because the instinct is to do more, initiate more, ask more, need more. And that instinct, I'm sorry to tell you, it's the wrong one. You see, direct attempts to pull a stagnant partner into engagement typically increases his resistance. So the prescription here is counterintuitive. The first prescription, personal growth. It's not do more, work more. It's the opposite. I want you to pursue what energizes you outside of your career. That hobby that you've abandoned, that creative outlet you always shove, like painting, physical activity, going to the gym, keeping fit. It's not selfish, it's strategic. Research has shown that people who grow themselves personally have their relationship grow because curiosity increases, and 75% of the time the stagnant partner becomes more curious. When you get more interesting, your partner will be more interested. And then share what you're discovering. Share it without any pressure for them to join you. Prescription number 2, strategic connection. Find opportunities, low pressure, high enjoyment. Build it around activities that your partner historically has enjoyed. And then just light touch invitations. Things like, I'm going hiking on Saturday. You want to come? You're not making demands. You're not saying we need to spend more time together this weekend. The difference is everything. When there's no emotional weight attached to an invitation, it's more likely to be accepted. Okay? Now, let's look at the third prescription, prescription number 3. This is for position 2, revised expectation framework. Make specific behavioral requests instead of emotional ones. Let me give you an example. Don't say, I need you to be more emotionally connected. Your partner may not even know what you mean or what you're talking about. Instead, say something like, can we have 15 minutes of uninterrupted conversation today or tomorrow, whenever? Try that. Small wins create momentum, small little wins, and then celebrate even partial movement from your spouse. 5 minutes of real conversation is better than 10 minutes. 5 minutes of real conversation still counts. It may not be 10 minutes, but it still counts. And I want you to reassess every 8 weeks. You'll see small signs of re-engagement before you see the larger shifts. Just watch out for them. Position 3 is the drift. And the prescription here is the most counterintuitive of all 4. Everything your instinct tells you to do in position 3 will make it worse. That's for sure. Your instincts will be something like, pursue him more. That activates the opposition reflex, and they will pull back further. Schedule more date nights. That feels obligatory. It'll cause resentment. Talk about the relationship more. That makes him go further underground. Don't do it. Traditional advice fails in position 3 especially because it doesn't address the momentum problem. It just adds pressure to an already pressurized system. 3 prescriptions for position 3. First, pattern interruption. Identify the predictable cycles, the conversations that always end the same way, the triggers that reliably lead to disconnection, and then deliberately change your role in that pattern. Let me give you an example. If you typically pursue him, stop pursuing. If you've been withdrawing, start staying engaged. If you're usually defensive, try listening without responding. Your partner will notice that something is different, and that noticing creates for you an opening. Second prescription, value reconnection. Beneath the surface disagreements are usually some shared core value that have been completely forgotten. Let's look at an example. If you fight about the kids constantly, the deeper shared value might be that you both want to raise resilient children. Bring that to the surface. Reconnect on what you both still believe in. This, my friend, creates psychological anchoring. It reminds both of you why you chose each other in the first place. Third prescription for this position is strategic vulnerability. I want you to share your genuine needs without blame. Express impact, not accusation. Let's take an example. I feel lonely when we don't connect. It's better than saying, you always ignore me. Neuroscience shows that vulnerability activates neurons in our partner's brain, even in periods of significant disconnection. Most partners will respond to genuine vulnerability. They'll respond with empathy. It's criticism that typically shuts the door, but vulnerability, it opens doors. Now, after you've done this, I want you to reassess every 4 weeks. Movement can happen relatively quickly once you change the patterns. Positive and negative pattern change brings movement. Position 4 is the most painful position to be in and the most critical position to handle correctly. Your partner isn't just drifting. They're actively moving toward something else. And the standard advice is, fight for your marriage. Pursue harder. Don't give up. This has less than a 10% success rate in this position. And here's why. They're typically running towards something. They're not just running away from you. They're seeking fulfillment or excitement or respect that feels missing. Understanding that changes everything about your approach. 3 prescriptions for position 4. The first one, reality clarification. I want you to clearly communicate the relationship status, but without blame. Set specific observable behavior changes that you require for this relationship to continue. Next, establish a timeline for reassessment. So it may sound something like, I've noticed we're growing apart. I've noticed you're spending a lot of evenings away from home. But for our marriage to work, we need to at least have 2 evenings a week together. Let's do this and reassess in 30 days. Research shows that partners in active divergence often genuinely lack awareness of the situation or of the full impact of their behavior. Clarity creates the decision point that vague complaints never can. Secondly, consequence illumination. Articulate the natural consequences, not threats. So let's take an example. When you're consistently unavailable, I'm forced to build a life separate from you. That's not the marriage either of us wanted. This activates the risk assessment centers of the brain. People respond to clearly understood stakes. Third prescription, attraction positioning. I want you to focus intensely on your own growth and well-being. Create visible evidence of what this relationship is capable of being. Establish healthy boundaries that respect your own needs. Become a compelling destination, not a pursuit, not an option, a compelling destination. Research shows that attraction-based approaches, they have a 3 times higher rate of success than the other one in position 4. 3 times higher than pursuit-based behaviors. That's significant. Reassess every 2 to 4 weeks with clear decision points. This position requires both strategic intervention and personal protection. Let me leave you with this. The position your relationship is in right now is not your final destination. Relationships are fluid. Momentum shifts when the right intervention is applied at the right time. The most liberating insight from relationship physics is that you have more influence than you think, not by controlling your partner, but by understanding the laws at work and moving with them instead of against them. Understanding physics doesn't mean you violate gravity, but it does let you build an airplane. So I want you to start with just one strategy from your position's prescription. Give it 30 consistent days, then reassess. I want you to look for small movements. They usually precede the larger shifts. Take the relationship position assessment if you haven't already done so at schoolofwife.com, or there's a link in the description pinned in the comments. You'll receive your exact position, a detailed intervention plan, and also next steps customized to where you currently are. I'm Dr. Dose. Remember, learning is a waste unless you put it to use or share it with someone who needs it. I'll see you next week.